today's video, we are going to be talking about my little theory when it comes to the finale, because today we saw the premiere of Lucky Day, which released on iPlayer and is due to be releasing on BBC One this evening, which is going to be very exciting because, yeah, this episode, whilst it has the premise of a Doctor-like story, you know, the Doctor's not around that much, but it focuses on Ruby and Unit, but we are introduced to the character of Conrad. And Conrad is, well, he's a little bit interesting because when he was younger, he met the Doctor. But instead of other people, when they meet the Doctor and they get inspired to be good and to try and be a good person, Conrad decides to take the angle of believing that aliens aren't true and that Unit are actually the villains in the grand scheme of things. And this leads to him, well, he isn't a very likable character, to say the least. But at the end of Lucky Day, he is arrested and he is detained in a prison, and he is supposedly released by Mrs. Flood, which is very interesting because Mrs. Flood has appeared in every episode so far of Season 2, and she will continue to do so up until the finale, where it's revealed on who she actually is. Now, obviously the finale, it's 2 parts, and the first part is called Wish World, and the finale is the Reality War. Now, my opinions is that we are going to be seeing obviously Conrad being able to become, you know, quite powerful, that he's going to be able to become sort of like a god in this own reality of his, where he has a lot of power and influence, and perhaps that he's kind of like a massive influencer, basically. But he is not going to be the only strong presence that is going to be around for the story. And I do believe that we are going to be seeing Mrs. Flood being revealed to be the Rani. That is my prediction. But I don't think that she is going to be the only other villain as well. And I do think that the other villain that we're going to be seeing returning in the Hooniverse is the Trickster. Yes, the Trickster, who is... well, I mean, he was the first revealed member of the Pantheon back in the Sarah Jane Adventures. And then when the Pantheon returned in the Giggle, obviously, yeah, we were introduced to the Toymaker, who was retrospectively included into that collection of gods. And then the Trickster was name-dropped in The Legend of Ruby Sunday in the build-up to Sutek's reveal. Now, the Reality War, which is the final episode of Season 2, it's kind of on the tongue that the Reality War will be, you know, taken across multiple realities, and there's going to be a lot of chaos and that sort of thing. And from filming pictures for Season 2, we do know that this is going to be taking part in multiple realities, which I think is going to be really interesting to see take place. And we do know that the Trickster in the Sarah Jane Adventures, he likes messing around with alternate realities where he feeds off the chaos. And you may be like, why is the Trickster behind everything? Well, my prediction is that the Mrs. Flood, or brackets Rani, will be kind of like his unofficial harbinger, similar to in the Sarah Jane Adventures, how the Grask kind of did all of his dirty work and kind of set things up for the Trickster's return. And I do feel like, yeah, the Trickster using someone like the Rani or Mrs. Flood would be very on cheek. Yeah, it would basically kind of fit the Trickster's character. Now, the Trickster kind of deals with people by promises them, like, you know, something in return. So with Conrad, he would actually be able to have the power and influence, and that's something that we've seen from filming stuff for the Reality War. Now, for Mrs. Flood, if she is the Rani, now my prediction here is that the Trickster is going to promise her the return of Gallifrey. Now, this could potentially lead the Doctor to also be slightly influenced by the Trickster, but not to the same extent. But maybe Mrs. Flood is completely entrapped by the Trickster's power, and that she fully believes that the Trickster is in the right here. But it turns out the Trickster has some complete disastrous motive where he tries to combine realities together, and obviously when that happens, there's going to be complete chaos and destruction. So, yeah, that is my theory, that the Trickster is going to be the big finale villain. And we were already promised, or teased in a preview for the finale, that we are going to be seeing the Unholy Trinity. Now, obviously, Conrad Clark, Mrs. Flood, and the Trickster. There you go. I do feel like that is pretty much on point for who the villains are going to be. But if you are new around here, please click that like button and subscribe for more nerdy content, as we are on the road to 8,000 subscribers, which I'll love to reach by the end of the year. But anyway, thank you very much for all the support. Take care, and goodbye for now.